Yes, sir. Urban Politics, we gotta get you. Check me out. Let me pick up where I left off. Every House Republican voted to block the Paycheck Fairness Act. That blows me away because I'm not sure of the number, but a few of those House Republicans are women, and they voted against the Paycheck Fairness Act, which shows you how politics will make you vote against your own gender. That is bananas, but that's what's really going on. All right, some of the other stuff I'm gonna get into is on misrepresentation. I get these emails all the time. It's really, really good stuff. I'm not sure who does it. I think it's Melissa Harris Perry because it's also involved with that She Should Run, which talks about women running for office, but I'm not sure. If you do know who does it, or I'm wrong on that, or I'm right on that, or whatever, you know what I'm saying, you can always hit me up at fizzed@gmail.com. That's fizzedmusic at gmail.com. That's PHIZZEDMUSIC at gmail.com. So hit me up if you agree with what I'm saying or you don't or whatever. Check this out. Talking about that you're looking very qualified today. News coverage of a female candidate's appearance, good or bad, hurts that woman's campaign, they say, according to new research from our affiliated foundation. But here's the groundbreaking, excellent news. When women explicitly confront the sexism in the media, voters on all sides of the aisles approve of her at a higher rate. The moral: stick to her qualifications no matter how good looking you think she is. That's real right there. You know what I'm saying? A lot of women have to confront that, but usually when they come out, you know what I'm saying, and they're outspoken against the sexism or whatnot, you know what I'm saying, they usually end up being the victor in the situation. I agree with that. Marco, Paul, Jeb, Chris, and Rand. Boy, that's the list of possible GOP candidates for the 2016 presidential election, according to the recent straw poll. And, you know, that's the poll that they do at CPAC, you know what I'm saying, where I guess they draw straws or whatever, and the president who gets the most straws would be, or not the president, but, you know, the person who gets the most straws or whatever would be who they would go for in 2016. Not a single woman, you know what I'm saying, seriously, guys. If you just cracked open your binder full of women, you'd find 4 Republican women governors you could choose from. I mean, Jan Brewer isn't necessarily on the top of misrepresentation's ballot, but still, and that is true. Jan Brewer, she's a Republican. They can nominate her. Ain't gonna happen because it's the same old GOP. They ain't feeling women. They ain't feeling minorities. They're feeling nothing but old white men. So anyway, here we go. Said no one ever. Equal Pay Day, an entire day dedicated to the drawing attention to the male-female wage gap was yesterday, which would have been Tuesday of last week when I got, you know what I'm saying, when I got this. And let's be real, it's ridiculous that we still have to talk about this in 2013. That is a shame. They say that women still earn 77 cents for every dollar that men earn. That's ridiculous. But it's still going on right now, 2013. So there's that. Dishonorable discharge. Terry Proud, a former state representative from Arizona, was fired from her position as director of a female veterans conference after she said that female soldiers' menstrual cycles could affect their ability to serve in combat. Wow. Did someone attend the Todd Aiken School of Science? Exactly. Can you believe a woman said that? I ain't gonna lie. There are women out there who have rough periods, but I still don't think that should keep a woman out of combat, out of wanting to do any job she didn't want to do. That's just ludicrous that somebody would say that, and it happened to be a woman. So think about that. Here's the least infuriating news to come out of Ohio in a while. That's our state. That's where we are right now. 2 female legislators have introduced a bill that would eliminate the statute of limitations on rape and sexual battery in the state. As it stands right now, the statute of limitations is 20 years in the state. That blows me away. So you trying to tell me that 2 female legislators are going to say that the statute of limitation on rape is 20 years? And what, they think that's too long? So what do they think it should be? 1 year, 2 year, 5 years? That is ridiculous. And the fact that there's some women doing it, it blows me away. I'm like, so is the GOP just finding women to do their bidding, or do these women really feel like that? And if they really do feel like that, they need to shoot me an email and come on my show and defend their trifling selves. Once again, my email, fizzedmusic@gmail.com. That's PHIZZEDMUSIC@gmail.com. Moving on. Congresswoman-elect Robin Kelly pulled out a win in Illinois' 2nd Congressional District last night. She's the first African American chief of staff to a constitutional officer in state history. She's replacing disgraced former Congressman Jesse Jackson, and she'll officially be bumping up the number of women in Congress. Basically, her district has a whole lot of things to cheer about tonight. Some of that, Jesse Jackson Jr., yeah, you know what I'm saying? What can I say about that? That's a sad thing, you know what I'm saying? They were talking about mental illness or whatnot. I like the fact that, guess what? He took it on the chin. He didn't go somewhere and get a lawyer to hide behind. Michelle Bachmann. He didn't do that. What he did was took it like a man, and he's going to go ahead and, you know what I'm saying, do the time for the crime. He know he misused funds. And guess what? I for one ain't mad at him. You know what I'm saying? For one, I think he's a real man for, you know what I'm saying, taking it on the chin and doing what he's supposed to do, knowing that he's in the wrong. Moving on. Who needs an actual Princeton education when you can just marry a Princeton-educated man? Hear that, ladies? This is not a trick question. Susan Patton, a Princeton graduate herself, wrote an open letter to the university student paper urging other Princeton women to hurry up and find a man already. The cornerstone of your future and happiness will be inextricably linked to the man you marry. Wow. That's interesting to hear. A woman with the Princeton telling other women, find a Princeton man because you're going to be defined by the man you're with. So I don't know what that says about Princeton and the lack of strong women that they're producing. Moving on. All right. Mind the gap. Only 53% of qualified women consider politics a viable career path, compared to 60% of qualified men. You know what? I think that, and I don't know if that's any necessarily saying anything about women not having as much drive as men. I love politics. My woman gets sick of hearing about it all the time, sick of watching it. I think that, you know what I'm saying, sometimes women are not as capable of separating themselves from political issues because it is emotional. And I get emotional about it myself. I mean, when you feel strongly about something and you call yourself a progressive and you want to see the country progress, you're going to feel strongly about some stuff. And when it doesn't go your way, you take it hard. But, you know what I'm saying, for me it is, you know, the political game is like a football game. We lose, but we come back to win many more victories. You know what I'm saying? So, just sit on that for a minute. Let me move on here. Nothing says qualified like facial hair. This is kind of weird. Dudes are so empowered by the political process that they actually created a PAC for bearded candidates. The founder was quoted saying that his inspiration for the PAC stemmed from the fact that we haven't had a bearded major party candidate run for president since 1916. It must just be so tough for those underrepresented bearded men. It's like they make up 51% of the population and only 18% of Congress or something. They're sort of taking a jab at the fact there are no women in Congress. That's interesting. Women making up 51% of the population, but only having 18% of representation in Congress. That needs to change, ladies. Only you can change it. Goodbye to the Iron Lady. Rest in peace, Margaret Thatcher. Yes, true indeed. You know what I'm saying? She passed away. She was a friend of Reagan's. I guess there were people, you know what I'm saying, who did not necessarily love her to death. They had some parades that a lot of people thought were real screwed up, where they were happy that she was dead. All right, moving on. I'm going to do some local politics now. This is local. Ohio Attorney General Mike DeWine has turned his back on women again, and his latest push could put the health of 3.3 million women at risk. In a deeply offensive move, DeWine has called on the federal government to allow employers to deny women essential health care services. Mike DeWine. Keep that in mind. That's who we're talking about. DeWine's track record is horrible on women's issues, and it just keeps getting worse. This dangerous and unnecessary demand by DeWine threatens a woman's access to birth control, access to cancer screening, and HPV vaccines. These are critical and often life-saving health services that women depend on. Yes, sir. This isn't DeWine's first attack on women's health care. Recently, he took part in a frivolous lawsuit with other states' attorneys general to limit contraceptive and family planning services. The Attorney General is elected to defend citizens, protect consumers, and enforce the law. Instead, Mike DeWine is using his statewide office to force his person and political beliefs on Ohioans. DeWine has turned his back on us once again. That blows me away. Now, we know DeWine is a Republican, and obviously he's pushing that Republican agenda, making it, you know what I'm saying, putting 3.3 million women at risk with all these other, you know what I'm saying, plans that he got or whatever, trying to take away, you know what I'm saying, make it so that businesses don't have to offer them health care and stuff like that. It's ridiculous. They need to get off of that. That's what they've been doing. They've been losing presidential elections, but then they've been going through the back door with their governors and whatnot and doing stuff like this to make it harder for women to get health care and contraception and the things they need. It's deplorable. All right. Now we're going to talk about a friend of mine, I'm joking, Kasich. John Kasich, your governor, my governor. Republican leaders in the Ohio House want to knock down 4 pillars of Governor John Kasich's 2-year budget plan. Kasich has pushed hard in recent weeks to build support for his $63.2 billion budget blueprint, especially the part that would extend Medicaid coverage to those making up to 138% of the federal poverty level. That includes the working poor and low-income Ohioans with mental health or addiction troubles. Such an expansion would largely be covered by the federal government, with Kasich saying his plan would allow Ohio to recapture $13 billion in federal tax dollars over the next 7 years. That's a lot of money. But Kasich, a Republican, has been unable to convince enough members of his party to support the expansion. Opponents claim Ohio would be left in a financial bond if the federal government doesn't keep its promise to fund the Medicare expansion. In addition, Tea Party groups have been pressuring Republican legislators to vote against the expansion because it is part of President Barack Obama's Affordable Care Act, which they oppose, also known as Obamacare. This is ridiculous. So let me explain this for you here. It looks like Kasich wanted to go ahead and take that money that was coming from Obamacare and, or the American Care Act, the expansion, and use it. And then there's other money that we got that he could use for other things. People in his own caucus, in his own party, Republicans, are like, nah, we don't want it. Really? So and then it said here, people who are 138, below the poverty line. Really, man? So that means that, they would throw that money back and not let poor people get health care just because they want a point saying that we still don't want Obamacare, even though the highest court in the land has said that it's legal and it is good. That is ridiculous. I'll tell you what, that is what fuels my love for politics. Because the fact that these guys could sit there and refuse money from the federal government that can help my state, and really it almost seems like I'm powerless to do anything about it, but sit here and talk to you about it, that's politics. And that is Urban Politics for now. I am PhysEdMusic.com. You can always hit me up at PhysEdMusic@gmail.com. That's PhizEdMusic@gmail.com. Yo, this is PhysEdMusic.com. Cut it out.